book. So most of these are just at the credit side. They were concentrating, according to the payments at the bank, and then you just bring that figure as actual balance in the cash book. Side, so auditors cannot make any sense from that recording, to come up should use to prepare your financial statement. So that's why it came as among the reasons we cannot express an opinion on the financial statement.
So also further to that, is that also the reason why they are not able to do examination of their bank statements?
Yes, that comes as part of, because I think the side of this, I think that was captured. Yeah, obviously, if the cash book is not cannot do that comes as part of the reasons. Yeah, because otherwise, that's among the reasons. Yeah.
Thank you, Council. Can you proceed?
Thank you. Have stated at 15.7 that they purchased dustbins for 12,980,200.
Help me with the page because
page 30, not management letter.
Okay, page 30. Okay.
And it's under note 15. There's headings.
Okay.
For the 15.7.
Okay.
They have stated that they 12,980,000
okay.
for the
15.7. Okay.
They have stated that they then after 15.11 there's a block that doesn't have and but it's still on 50, which states which is for number and but it's still under 15 which states which is for I believe development expenditure 169,155 construction of concrete roads in Banjul at 37,225,603 dollars and 80 butut. Construction of Center of Excellence for Youth in Banjul at $21,156,065.
Yeah.
But it is not clear whether this comes under the development expenditure. Well, it's under the head. But it is not clear whether this comes under the development expenditure. Well, it's under the heading development expenditure,
yes,
but
yes.
I'm not sure it is taken into account in the figure that is stated under development expenditure. I don't know whether you're in a position to say why it is placed as it is.
Yeah, let me just go back to the account. So let's see. This is let me go back to the accounts then. You want to help me where the accounts are? The number, just the page number.
The page number, 32.
32? 2, right? No, I mean the actual account. You know, they are just explaining, these notes we are going to, they are just explaining the figure. I mean the actual figures. The actual income and expenditure, which page do you?
I am not sure. I only have it in the report as.
No,
let me just go through it again.
It's alright. It's okay. Bank loan.
Because
this is
it's
income.
not.
It's okay. I will just say. Okay. Expenditure, emolument, admin expense, cleansing, education, social service, youth and sport and culture, maintenance and repairs. Development expenditure. It's on the development expenditure.
Yes, which is
on note 15.
Note 15.
Yes.
And development expenditure is 26,565,000.
786.
Yes. when you go further, they have under 15 point, so beneath 15.11, you have that block that provides for the 39 million, 37 million, 21 million, but it is under development, but there's no indication of how that affects the development expenditure amount of 26 million. Because you can see from the other subheads, like 15.11 is counterpart contribution to GAMWORKS, and it states how much was paid. This one doesn't have a number, a sub number, and it's
state of project undertaken for implementation. Construction of BCC concrete roads and this balance. I think here they are just trying to analyze the payments. It's an analysis of the payment, the amounts supposed to be paid, and the balance. And because there is a query on this in the management letter, it has to do with the contract, how much has been paid, and then just the project description, the actual cost of this, the status of the project undertaken for implementation.
Okay.
They are just giving an analysis. The payments done at the first installment, the second installment, that's what they are just trying to say. They are like construction of BCC 9,959,959, construction of concrete roads, total cost for all projects 19,021,000. Initial payment in 2016, 6 million. Balance after initial payment, 2 million. And then progress payment in April 2019. So this project that started, as far back as 2016. So they are just, the areas, the amount to be paid. So they are just doing an analysis of that payment.
Okay. Now, Mr. Trawa, what a question to that. I think you can correct me. Page 19.
Page 19.
Yes, page 19 of your management.
Of management letter, right?
Yes. It talks about the fact that even though they prepared, they could not reconcile the revenue and the expenses. Can you explain what that means?
19. Let me go. P19. Are you in our monthly abstract book? Yes. It's just saying this also. All things are from our own manuals. Regulation 906 of the Finance and Accounting Manual of Local Government Authority stated that each council shall maintain separate abstract book for revenue and expenditure. The abstract book is to be processed at the end of the month by a senior clerk to analyze the transaction in the cash book prior to posting in the general ledger. Abstract books may not be needed where a council is able to prepare and analyze cash book for receipts payment using separate spreadsheet where the accounting system is fully computerized. And then the finding is the city council did not maintain a monthly abstract book to record all financial transactions from the cash book. Did not maintain a monthly abstract book to record all financial transactions from the cash book. You just enter it, record it in that rates abstract book. If you do any payment pertaining to this thing, you just record it in that book. So these books, these are the records that you will use and then put it in the general ledger at the end of the month. And then these are the records that you will use. You're going to use to prepare your financial statement. So these are requirements from their manual. It's their procedure So if you don't get these procedures right, there is no way that at the end of the period you can produce a credible financial statement. So we have all these.
So aside from the abstract book that they are supposed to provide and maintain, do they also maintain the general ledger provided for in the financial manual?
Yes, because the general ledger, I think that also came as part of a query. The thing is, if you don't maintain proper, even if a general ledger, the authenticity of those figures will be questioned. Auditors will need to see the flow. This need to be recorded at the end of the month. You take that balance and record it in the general ledger. So if the cash book is not properly maintained, no abstract book, and then you see the figure in the general ledger, auditors will always question, that figure, that total. Where is the source of this figure? So if you put that figure in your state. Figure. So if you put that figure in your financial statement, auditors cannot expect, because that's what triggers this opinion. Because like we just seen figures, and then the source of those figures we cannot verify, because the records that should inform us about the sources are not available or not correctly maintained. So based on that, we cannot say whether these figures are correct or wrong. That's why we came up with this opinion, disclaimer.
Council, can you proceed, please?
Thank you.
Sorry, Commissioner Joyner has
just a quick one. You are still elaborating on the 2019 and 2020.
Yes.
And what you have said about the bins and the constructions of roads and everything is highlighted in the 2019-2020 audit.
Yes, management letter, yeah.
My question to you is, it's an open secret that most of the roads constructions were done by central government in Banjul. Were you told which streets were constructed by BCC during this period?
I wasn't told, but if the audit team had an issue with that, I believe it will be captured in the management letter.
So in other words, you are saying that since it's not captured in the management letter, therefore they must have done some road construction in Banjul, totaling those amounts.
What I'm saying is, because this is their analysis, they are saying this amount was used for the road constructions, and then audit teams doesn't bring. I don't see any finding, particularly mentioning about that road construction. So it is possible that they have seen the figure for the road construction, and then they were not given the documentation to verify that, and they are not able to verify that figure. I'm just trying to say the reasons why the auditors will give off this disclaimer of opinion. You said, okay, this particular road has been constructed. Auditors said, okay, where is the supporting document to support this? And then you are not able to provide that. So the auditors, and then it is reported in your financial statement. This is just an example. The auditors will say, well, this figure is in the financial statement saying they've constructed a road, but we are not able to verify that figure, whether it happens or it doesn't happen, because there is nothing to say. So based on that, we cannot say whether it is true or not. So that is what will trigger a disclaimer of opinion. Yeah. So if it happened maybe only one or two, then they will say the financial statement is true and fair except for this, this, and that. But if it is numerous, then they cannot say except for this, except for it. Then they will just say it's either adverse, not true and fair, or to say we cannot verify because we are limited. We don't have documents to authenticate this claim.
Council, you may proceed. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Travely, you have provided, again, a disclaimer of opinion on the financial statements of Banjul City Council for the year ended 31st December 2020.
Yes.
And the basis for the disclaimer, well, are a bit different from, for some parts, are a bit different from the ones for 2019.
Yes. And tell me the page, please, if you don't.
Page 40.
Page 40, all right, thanks. Okay.
But one of the issues that you, or one of the basis for the disclaimer of opinion at 4B is that the 2019 notes to the financial statements were used as the 2020 notes to the 2020 financial statements.
Yes.
This will mislead users of the financial statements because of the differences between figures in the financial statements and the notes to the financial statements.
Yeah.
But then some of the figures in both notes are the same.
Yeah, that's just the likelihood of what caused that. I think it was explained either in the, you said the basis for opinion is on page 40, right?
Page 40, the disclaimer of opinion, yes, for the financial statement ending December 2020.
Yeah, I'm trying to be
Oh,
there.
okay. It's on page 6. The new page 6.
Maybe, yeah, that's why I can't see it. Let me just go back then. Basis for disclaimer of opinion, right? So you are referring to a particular...
Yeah, 4B.
Adjustment or the heading? What's the heading?
The heading is notes to the financial statements.
Provide reconciliation. Are we talking about
so the notes to the financial statements is on page 7.
Page 7.
And is on Roman 4B.
Providing of records information. There was significant. That's my page. Page 7, right? Accounting policies.
Accounting policies.
Because for me,
accounting policies is on page 8 for me.
Yeah, but
and that is on the key audit matters.
Okay. I'm on. If you say why. Okay, because I'm having 2019. Okay, 2020.
It's 2020.
Okay, then I have to go at the far end. Okay, I think, okay. Then, claim of opinion, basis for this, you see Roman 4. Disclosure notes. A, there was no disclosure of operation of, okay, B, right? Yeah. Notes to the financial statement. The 2019 notes to the financial statement as the 2020 notes to the 2020 financial statement. This will mislead users of the financial statement because of different figures in the financial statement, not the financial statement. Notes to the financial statement. What happened was this was reported in the management letter, in detail management letter. This was reported in the management letter, in details in the management. Okay, that's what usually triggered that. So that's what the auditors are bringing as an issue, and then Yeah, as an issue. Because the notes, each and every year, the notes to be, but you just bring the figures and then copy it. That's what the auditors are just flagging.
And they didn't provide the correct notes by the time the report was prepared?
Yeah.
Yes. Mr. Chawale. Sorry, Council. Let me just, before you proceed on to the next step. I think at page 28 of the management letter, you did mention a particular company, which is UXL, Mamla. And the company was subject of scrutiny by the auditors. Am I correct?
I have to get to the finding.
Yes.
I have to get to the finding. Page 28, right?
Yes.
You talking about the notes or management letter?
Management letter.
Oh, it's in the management. Let me go down to the.
Let me give you.
Between the final, the notes, different years, so that's what makes
the
it.
The contract was for a sum of 1,882,500. Did you see it?
I'm going to page 28. I'm in the management letter now. I'm just doing. Yes, procurement, is it overpayment of contract?
Well,
UXL, isn't it?
Yes, UXL.
Yes.
Mamla, yes.
Yes.
It was for a contract sum of 1,882,500.
Yes.
Here, my question is, the audit report did not indicate the subject matter of the contract. If so, why?
Here, for this particular finding, 3.4.1, overpayment of contract.
Yes.
The audit report said the agreement between the two parties, BCC and the contract, states that subject to providing service as outlined in the contract, the contractor will be paid the sum of 882,500. Findings: we noted overpayment of 675,000 by City Council to UXL. This was as a result of difference between the contract amount and actual payment. No evidence was provided to justify the overpayment. Details are below. 30th January 2019, payment voucher number 49, they paid UXL 175. These are installment payment. And then May 2019, paid 382. July 2019, paid 100,000. No, 1 million, sorry. These are, 1 million. And total actual payment was 1,557,500. And then what the auditors, according to their list, the total amounts would be 882,500. But if you put the payments together, it amounted to 1,557,000. Then the auditors are saying there is an overstatement of 675. So this was reported, and then management responded. They said, unfortunately, this might be an oversight on your part, as the contract sum was the actual sum paid. They said, please find accompanied the contract document and the breakdown of the payment made for your update and reconciliation. The necessary documentation have been attached for your reconciliation and further advice. So auditors further comment said, we reviewed the contract agreement submitted after the draft management letter and noted that the actual payment should be 1,882,500 instead of 882,500 as reported above. However, the contract submitted during the audit field work set the contract amount as at 882,500. It's like, I think there is, because auditors are saying these people provided another documentation to the audit team. So the audit team were saying, but during the field work, the document submitted to them for this contract mentioned 882,500. So that's why when they see that
sorry. Is it 1,882,000 or just 882?
Auditors are saying during the field work,
yes,
when they requested for this document, the contract amount, according to them, was 882,500. But when they look at the installment payment, they paid 1,552,000. So they are saying the contract amount is 882, and you paid 1,552,000, meaning you are overpaying them 600. What is the reason? And then they responded to say maybe that was an oversight, and they provided another documentation to the auditors that the contract amount is 1,882,000, is not 882. So the auditors were like, but during the field work, the document provided to us was 882. So this is the discrepancy.
So what is the conclusion of the auditor with respect to that?
No, the conclusion, the auditors are saying we review the contract agreement submitted after the draft management letter, and noted that the actual payment should be, they submitted another document which mentioned 1,882,000, but they say instead of 882 as reported above. However, the auditors are saying, however, the contract submitted to us during the field work was mentioning 882,500. So these are some of the possible areas that if you want to, so because the auditors are saying, but the initial document was 882. They agreed that after this query, a document was submitted which was mentioned 1,882,000. But during the field work, what they have seen was 882.
Now, how do you correct? How do you assess the genuinity of subsequent documents provided to you after you have gone to do your audit and documents were presented to you? How do you make that assessment? Whether those documents that are provided after are either correct or represent the true situation?
Yeah, that is it, because this is where I believe the auditors, when we go for our subsequent audit, this is where we will do more further work, by trying to, involve other mechanisms to get the actual listing from the contractor to do more further work, where it will come as a follow-up issues, issues, yes.
My question, you've not still answered it.
Okay.
What was the subject matter of this particular contract?
Here, let me just say that. Are you talking about our finding? Because our finding is saying overpayment of contract.
Yes. Your findings, I don't have any problem with that.
Okay, what is the contract all about?
Yes.
Yeah?
The subject of
they didn't specifically mention the auditors there, because here the auditors are talking about the figure. There is a contract between the BCC and UXL.
Yes.
But I think your question is, what was the contract about, to develop this or to do this, right?
Yes. What is the contract? Was it a service? What is the construction? What is it about? It
said the agreement between the two parties, BCC and the contractor, state that subject to providing service as outlined in the contract, the contractor will be paid. They just said doing service.
What service was it?
No, that one is not captured in the audit report. These are the things. Maybe if you need the specific then we can just factor. Audit, because here the substance of the finding is the overpayment.
Yeah.
So that's why they didn't record everything about this. The contract was to build this, and that. But the payment vouchers are there. They are all captured. Then it will be easier to know what was the actual service.
In these circumstances, we will want to know what sort of services. You understand? The BCC contracted.
That's fine. That's fine.
So that it will.
The details of the that's fine.
Thank you. So you can avail us that when you have it.
That makes.
So thank you so much.
Yeah, that's fine.
Council, you may proceed.
Thank you. Mr. Trawley, in that same vein, there's on page 29 of the management letter.
Page 29.
Yes, in respect of that same agreement, I believe.
Okay.
There is a finding by the auditor that the City Council did not provide the project proposal and reports such as monitoring and evaluation and completion of project reports for audit inspection. And the contract was between the Council and UXL.
Yeah, it's this, yeah. The city, that's on presented project proposal and report. The city council did not provide the project proposal and report, such as monitoring and evaluation and completion of project report for audit inspection. The contract was between the council and UXL. Yeah, so meaning during the audit, the auditors were limited. And then management response, please find accompany the report of the consultancy for your update and further advice. The necessary documentation to shed more light on the transaction has been searched and gathered for your further action and advice. The auditors further comment, the project proposal document and report were not submitted for review to determine if works were carried as per the proposal. So the auditors are saying, even though management responded to say they have searched and then they are available, but the auditors said they have not been submitted the time they are finalizing this report.
So basically, the response that they have attached the report would be incorrect, based on the auditor's further comment.
Their response, the necessary documentation to shed more light on the transaction has been researched and gathered for your action. They said has been researched and gathered for your action.
Because there is, before that one, that's the action to be taken.
Yes.
But the response said, please find accompanying the report of the consultancy for your update and further advice.
Yes.
So,
no, according to the audit, that never took place, because the auditors are saying the project proposal document and report were not submitted for review to determine if works were carried as per the proposal.
Thank you. May I refer you to page 11 of the management letter under suspected fraud?
Page 11.
Yes. It's under the heading of suspected fraud, paragraph 3.1.
Sorry, let me do it. Page 11, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So I believe this is what the chairperson was trying to find out from you. You have stated that you have unconfirmed GTRs with serial numbers 806101 to 806550 recorded in the market CRBR. These were not part of the books supplied by Gambia Printing and Publishing Corporation. We could not verify the source and quantity of books received, and the details are below. Before you go into that, can you just tell us what are CRBRs?
CRBR, these are counterfoil receipt book register. These are if you give the register collectors to go and collect whatever, the rates or whatever, this is where you record, the register where you record it. That will indicate receipt book so and so was given to a backer, and then I record it here in the book. So it's that register. So the auditors will use that register to confirm which receipt book has been given to which collector. So that's what we will use to trace, the books given to the various collectors, and then whether they have returned the counterfoil.
So, what is the implication of the books that were not printed by the official printers? What is the likelihood, or what's the likely risk in that regard?
You mean the implication?
Yes.
The ICA risk that monies collected might be unaccounted, leading to a loss of revenue to the city council to fund its activities. Because what happened was Gambia, they have responded, and then again, the other implication is the source of, that is the recommendation. The source of printing the receipt books and the number of books printed should be provided for verification. If the source and the number of books are not provided, the officer responsible should be so charged. Note that GTRs can be used to collect any amount, unlike market tickets. What happened was, before we go to any council, we will go to printing, because Gambia Printing Authority is the only institution mandated to print receipt books for the public institutions. before we go to any council, we'll go to printing for the period. If we are to audit 2019, all the books supplied to a particular council for that period, we will take that information, the details of all the receipt books, and then when we go to the council, that is where we will know whether a particular receipt book has been supplied and then it has not been tendered for audit. And then if you take another receipt book that is not within the range of books supplied by GP, we will ask for the source of that, because that means that is illegal. You are not supposed to take any receipt book from any other supplier or printer apart from the GPPC. So that what actually happened. These receipt books here, according to our reports, they were used by the collectors, but they are not from Gambia Printing Corporation. And then the response was the acting manager, the acting market manager, when we send this, their response from the management, they said the acting market manager issued and signed those GTR books from the finance department, GTR CRBR book, supplied by the previous acting director of finance on the 9th January 2019 and issued it to the individual monthly revenue collectors according to the Albert Market monthly book on the same period, and will present those mentioned GTR book serial numbers and whom issued for further verification. Following the requested serial number, this and that. They just mentioned it, and then they said this issue should be expunged from the queries as submitted on new evidence to contest the earlier position on the issue. And they are like acting manager. What the auditors for the comment is that management response did not address the finding, and management needs to provide the details of the supplier and the quantity received by the city council. So it's like their response was not clear, because for us we are like, the source of these books we don't know, because they are not from printing. So if you take this receipt book from somewhere, the risk is already clear. You can be using them and you will not be able to be accounted for. So, but they are trying to explain that the market manager, they get this thing from the acting director of finance, and then it's not clear. That's why we are saying your response is not clear, and then that is where the issues stand.
Okay, before you proceed, sorry. Under the same area of discussion, at page 31 of the management letter, you noted that there were two de-aggregated contracts.
Yes.
One contract sum was 1,767,812.94, and the other one was 1,814,885.35 respectively. And what was contained in your report was that these two contracts were de-aggregated, and they were found to be paid to one Katim Ture. And this payment was made in several forms of impress payment. Can you explain further on this and what this means and its implication? Thank you.
Finding 3.4.4, the aggregation of procurement, we always that work for GPP, but as auditors, as I have mentioned, we also look at whether the institution is complying with the laws and regulations. So that's why even if you violate procurement rules, we will bring that regulation and then bring it out. Section 21 of the Gambia GPPA Authority Act states that a procuring organization shall not divide its procurement artificially in order to avoid the monetary threshold set in this act or in regulation. This is the regulation from the GPPA, that you shouldn't artificially divide in order to avoid the monetary threshold. So finally, we noted that Council de-aggregated the construction of an abattoir and 8 stores for the year under review. The Council paid 1,767,812.94 and 1,814,885.35 for the construction of the abattoir and store at the Banjul Albert Market and BCC Ice Plant, respectively. These payments were made to the Director of Planning and Impress and were fully retired, as Impress and were fully retired. So the details of the payments are there. And then the auditors are saying the implication, this is in violation of the above GPPA Act, which might lead to substandard structure resulting to the loss of fund. Management should ensure that procurement above the GPPA threshold for procurement or any other regulations are adhered to. The practice of paying contract amount to staff of the council should be stopped immediately, because this is a large sum of money, about 2 to 3 million, and then you give that one to somebody as interest. Is against the GPPA regulations. It needs to be tender, and then the right this be awarded the contract, and then the Director of Planning or whatever should help the council in that monitoring and then all those things and then report accordingly. But if you give in, it's just saying like the Director of Planning is the contractor when he is a staff. So there is conflict, and then again is not following the GPPA regulations. That's what they are saying. And then the response is point noted. The new qualified Director of Finance has been hired by the Council to strengthen the entire finance department to ensure that there are no such financial mistakes in the future. They agreed. They said the point is noted, and then such things will not happen again in the future.
Yes. What can you further explain the issue of the 2 million and also whether the auditors visited the site to ascertain whether the abattoir and the 8 stores were built?
I know if you go to the performance review, the auditors flag some findings about the abattoir, and then if you want me to go there, it's in the report, in the management letter.
Yes, we just want you to explain to us what was the findings of the auditors when they went to the site.
Okay, so I can go to that?
Yes, you can explain for me.
Okay, so let me just go. I think it will come as it's in the 2018 report. I think it will come as a prior year matter here. So I know the abattoir, the pictures and all those things. In that 2018 report, it should be there.
Okay, we can, when we reconvene, you can elaborate on that.
Maybe if I have it, I can read it quickly.
Yeah, but I think we could stop here because it's time for prayers.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes, we may rise now. It's already 2 and it's time for prayers and lunch time. Thank you.